Acidonia did a 58, and today I'm going to show off my pretty small Game Boy and Game Boy Color collection. So, the very first game I ever got for the system, yep, Super Mario Land 2, the 6 golden coins. Now, I didn't get this new, so I have no box for it. I actually bought my original Game Boy used from a shop in Leeds, I think. And this is what came in with it. It didn't come in a box or anything, it was just the machine itself. But yep, good game. You know, I've never actually beaten the game. Right, so now I can't find it, but I eventually got a second Game Boy because the other one kind of broke. I think it was on discount sale at Morecambe, of all places, in the electronics shop. Yeah, and it came with Tetris. It also came with the original Mario Land, but I can't find that cartridge anywhere, but I know I definitely have it. But yeah, Tetris. I'm sure most people have played Tetris. It's the most well-known game out there on the system. So, right, now going into ones that probably the first game I bought for the thing, and it's Kemco's Mickey Mouse. Now, everyone might know this game's kind of infamous because this is one of those games that has a million different versions. Kemco were pretty infamous for this. I mean, this is also known as Hugo, where he plays a troll from that old TV show. You know, one with the telephone lines and all that. Yeah. So there's that, and yep. And it's best most well known for being called Bugs Bunny in Crazy Castle because, yeah, that's the same game. Kemco used to reskin that Bugs Bunny game quite a lot for different characters and stuff. Kind of weird, but yeah. And the next one we've got, right. Now I've got the box for this one. It's The Blues Brothers by Titus. Now I know people say that the Super Nintendo version of this game is absolutely terrible, but I actually thought this version was better. It's a bit like Super Mario Brothers 2 in a way. You can pick objects up and you throw them at people. Yeah, that's the price it originally cost when we got this in Andorra. Because 1990 pesetas, yeah, says how old this is. Yeah, and there's the actual cartridge, so, yeah. I haven't played it in years, so I don't know if it's a good game or it's a crap one anymore, but, right, so next one. That's simple one there. Yeah, it's R-Type. Yeah, we've all, yeah, R-Type. This is actually, I even got this in, I think, Spain. It's an American copy because it came with a shit advertised Nintendo Power magazine inside it. Yep. Yep, that's R-Type. It did have a poster of that inside it, but I've lost that a long time ago. Essentially, if we look at the cover, the Dockerceratops, I think that's what it's called, the first boss of R-Type anyway, has a different coloured. There's a red face, but on the back it's got a green face. Weird. Right, so the next one, and this one I got for one of my birthdays, back at Leeds Market, my birthday money, it's Kirby's Dream Land. You see this when Nintendo was insisting Kirby was a ghost, so he's white on the cover and not pink. Yeah, Kirby's Dream Land, great game. Pretty easy, but there's nothing wrong with the game being easy. Yep. And what's that inside it? And then for some reason this is like, what's this? Keep your cool, exclusive colour, only $6.99. See opposite. What is it? It's like beer mat, I think. What is this thing? Offer available until 31st of January 1984. Yeah. I don't know where that came from, but I don't think I can send for that offer in somehow. I'm a bit late on that one. Right. And there's the actual game itself. Yes, I do have it. Right, next one. This is one I actually do remember by myself. It's Wario Land, Super Mario Land 3. A great game. I really do think Wario has better games, in my opinion, than Mario does. I think the Wario series is a lot better than the Mario one. Yep. Now, it's not the instruction book, but I have to defeat a bad guy. Wario's a kind of a rubbishy bad guy when you think about it. He does more heroic things than a good guy. Anyway, there's the cartridge itself, Wario Land. The final game in the Game Boy Mario series, which Nintendo seems to always forget ever happened. And that, a great game series. Really worth playing. This one actually, this was another one we got in Spain. Now I didn't even know anything about multi-cartridges when we got it, but yeah, this, yeah, and the camera's actually picking up the faces there. It's got Lethal Weapon on it, which is actually a game based on Lethal Weapon 3. Tailspin, which is actually like the NES version. Zen Intergalactic Ninja, which is actually kind of a fun like game by Konami. Mickey Mouse 4, which you guessed it, is also, I believe, got a different name as well. Milon's Secret Castle, which is actually better than the Super Nintendo version because it has a save feature, so you can actually do something with it. And the game I like, I'm still like, and thankful for the game, but I like Tumble Bop. And bizarrely enough, a game that calls Street Fighter 3. It's not actually Street Fighter 3, it's a game thing called Overburst, which is a fighting game Konami made for the Game Boy. It's actually not that bad of a game really for a fighting game for the Game Boy, but it's definitely not Street Fighter 3. I'm actually, just look at the screenshots and I'm like, yeah. There's Mickey Mouse foot. There's Tumble Bop. See, they're actually proper screenshots of the actual game, so that Tailspin. Let's call it Milon's Castle, the real name. And that's Street Fighter 3. Yeah, that's not Street Fighter, is it? And there's Lethal Weapon, which Lethal Weapon is definitely, in my opinion, the crappiest game on this cartridge. Also, it has this ridiculous feature where the way it's for characters, you walk off screen and suddenly, yeah, you're in. Yeah, the Nintendo version does that too. And you wondered, that's the actual cartridge. A bit very faded, but as you can see, it's got like weird Japanese text, and I don't know why the top's so faded on it, but right, so for Christmas that year my parents got me a second one from the exact same style. This one's a Super 8-in-1, and this one's got Joe and Mac Caveman Ninja, the Game Boy part of Joe and Mac, which is good. Actually just play pretty good on a Game Boy. Rodland, that's a great game, a really good part too. I don't think it's got extra like bonus world in it though that the later versions had, but Spider-Man 3, that's absolutely terrible. Don't play Spider-Man 3 ever, it's just really one life game, really difficult and hard. Battletoads, which is actually the Nintendo Battletoads, but the Game Boy part, it's still stupid hard. Pro Tennis, that's one of the played. Cool World is unsurprisingly based off the movie Cool World and is, you guessed it, kind of crap. I just remember the screen going, you blew it boss, and that, yeah, it was not a very good game. And Bubble Bobble Jr., which I think's got multiple names, but yeah, it's part of the Bubble Bobble series, it's a good game. And SD Fight, which is not the actual name for the game, but I think it's the real series is called The Great Battle, but I'm not 100% sure. But you can play as a masked rider in the game, a Mobile Suit Gundam, an Ultraman, and some Indian bloke who throws bombs. Yeah, and all the villains are based off those 3 series, so it's like a big crossover game. It's actually a fun platform game, and it's actually a big series, and there's quite a lot of them. They never left Japan, obviously, but yeah, I'm glad to actually be able to play them. Right, there's another one. Ninja Taro. I mean, now this one had a story behind. I actually got this one when I was working in a charity shop at Work Experience. Somebody sent it in and they said for some reason they can't sell it in a charity shop because they don't know what games are worth. Yeah, there were pretty old people working in this shop. And it's actually a Zelda clone, but you play as a ninja. It's actually not too bad. I will say one thing if you want to play this game though. If it gives you an item, make sure you use it in a place it tells you, because it only gives you one of the item and never gives you any more of it. So if you save after you use the item in the wrong place, you're screwed. Of course, most of the times it does this, once you use that, once you get to the next area, it just gives you unlimited uses of the thing anyway, so yeah, what's the point? Right, next one. Game & Watch Gallery, the very first one. Well, technically this is the second one, because they had one called 5-in-1 that had the same games base, one called the Game & Watch Gallery. Yeah, I don't know why this one's so faded, but yeah, I actually got this one when I was in Florida a long time ago, so this is the only Game Boy game I got when I was in America, original Game Boy game I ever bought when I was in America. Good game, of course the sequel's very much better. Now I couldn't find all of these, but this is Konami Game Boy Collection Volume 1. This is 4 games there. I think a racing game, the Game Boy version of Gradius, the first Game Boy Castlevania, which is by far the worst handheld Castlevania game ever made because of how unforgivingly slow it is and how precise you'd be jumping. But it was the first game in the series handheld, so let's give it some excuse. Now this game in Japan was in black and white, but it was a Game Boy Color features in Europe, and it's also never sold in America. So yeah, and then we've got Konami Game Boy Collection Volume 2, and I remember rightly this one's got, I can't remember all the games on it. It's got 4 different games on it. It's got Arctic I think this might have Arctic Adventure on it, Ya Kung Fu, a game called Block Game, which is actually really good, but it's actually really better known as Quaff or Block Hole. I don't know why they renamed the game on it. Yeah. Oh yeah, another thing about the original one that Matt mentioned. Contra on this is called Probotector, like all the European versions was at the time. That was the last. This was the last cartridge that had Contra renamed Probotector. The thing is though, all the Probotector games redesigns player sprite to robot. Not this one. It's got the human sprite, but the title screen still calls it Probotector. Oops. Right, I do have a volume. I don't have a volume 3, but I have volume 4 of this as well, which has Gradius 2 in it, which is a great game. Now there are entirely different games, Gradius games on the Game Boy than they are on the console, and they have entirely different bosses in them and all that. One thing I will say about Strange though is I think I'll say it's stop it. It's really strange about it is the second one on the Game Boy has like cutscenes and a story. Also, the weirdest thing about this, the final bosses in the Game Boy Gradius games actually fight back. Unlike all the other versions, it's not just a useless brain that just says I'm awesome and unbeatable and dad blows up on his own. Yeah, you have to actually fight back. And there's another one. I have to open that one a bit. Yeah, Game & Watch Gallery 3, the last one in the Game Boy Color series. Another really good game. Of course, the Game & Watch Gallery Advance just basically just a remake of the first 3 almost, well parts of it, with better graphics and have much new stuff, sort of disappointing. Right, so obviously ones that I'm obviously gonna get. Pokemon Red, that's the very first Pokemon I got. I got it way before it even was sold in. There's another game I got in Markham. I did a video on Cherished Game Memories and I'll go more into discussion on that, so you can watch that video if you want to hear more about that. Right, so, Pokemon Yellow, that's a European version. Pokemon Gold. Yeah, I remember Pokemon Gold. I remember I actually caught shiny Pokemon Gold, and it was a Kakuna. I ended up being last place in the bug catching contest for a shiny Pokemon, and yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense if anyone's played Pokemon now. How ridiculous that is. Then a day later, I caught shiny Raticate. I think it was Rattata, but it evolved into Raticate. They also just shiny Arcanine. Of course, none of these can be transferred over, so they're kind of stuck in here pretty much. Yeah, so Pokemon Silver and Pokemon Crystal. Yeah, I'm not really going into explaining them more than that. As well, it's Pokemon. Probably the weirdest cartridge shaped one of them, Pokemon Pinball, which has a battery in it. And that's because it has a rumble pack in it. The game vibrates and the battery makes, yeah, good pinball game. So they really should remake this series and do it featuring all 720 new Pokemon. After all, Pokemon Ruby Sapphire one, I need like 100, which was actually less than this game, which was sort of disappointing. Right, so next one, Pokemon Puzzle Challenge. This is, well, panelled upon our Puzzle League of Pokemon. Really good game, worth playing. Also, it's got this hilarious thing when you fight Jinx, when you beat her hair falls off and waves a flag. Yeah, Jinx's hair is alive according to this game. I don't know why, but it is, so, yep. Right, so, next one. Star Wars Yoda Stories. Now this is a strange one, this, because if I remember rightly, it's a part of a PC game. It's a bit like Zelda. It's very limited in music though. It's literally any music in the game. It's the Star Wars theme music. That's it. It's like a really weird version of Zelda with like but setting missions instead. Kind of. Yeah, Wario Land 3. Yeah, I don't think I really need to describe much about Wario Land 3. Another great Wario game. Pretty bizarre in this one. You can only get a game. You can only actually die on the final boss. There's no other way to die in the game. Oh, I thought that kind of weird. Now, this one you probably never heard of. It's all Hands of Time. And it's just like, it's a bit like Zelda in a way as well, but it's like a quest game. It's like blow tanks up and things and travel through time, and you fight werewolves, zombies, vampires and all sorts of things, and like mechs and all sorts of crazy things in it. You just fight regular humans. It gets a bit weird. There's got lots of missions, man. Actually quite a good game. No, I've never seen it mentioned that much before. Right, so now we're going at the other multi-cart ones, and these are the ones that some people said, well, that's cheating and not real games, the bootlegs, but I count them, so yeah. Super 199 in one. Now, as you may have guessed, there's not 199 different games on this thing. And yeah, now it's got, that's Hugo the Troll, and that's that Mickey Mouse game I mentioned earlier. Just a different sprite. And this has Bomberman 1 to 3 on it. Bomberman GB 1 to 3. Now, GB 3 was never released outside Japan. It's a shame because the Game Boy Bomberman games are pretty good. The first one was probably the weakest of a lot of them because it's just like the very first ever Bomberman game where you just blow up other Bombermen and there's no like, with just some boss fights added. Yeah, you basically find the same enemy over and over again. Oh yeah, in the West it was slightly added extra few sprites. It was called Wario Blast and just threw Wario into it. But aside from that, it was the exact same game. So yeah, that's got the 3 Game Boy Bomberman games, which are good games. What next? So this one's called a new M32 in 1 game, and this one's got Superman on it. Yeah, the Superman on it is is the tightest one, you know, the one that's even worse than Superman 64. Yeah, it gives it horrendous. Batman Revenge of the Joker. It's a slightly better game, but it's not that good. Spider-Man, which is the first Spider-Man game, which is alright. It's not the best game in the world. It's better than the third one, that's for sure. Pac-Man, yeah, that's Pac-Man. Jack-and-Man, yeah. Pitman. Pitman's actually quite a good puzzle game. Yeah, Hero Story, I'm not sure. I think there's only, I think there's actually only 6 games on this, and all these other made-up ones like City Guardians, Skill the Hangers are all just literally just repeats of the same game. And Flight Shop, Grub Monster, Aviator Valor, Peace Warrior, Brutal Mobster, Figurine Pursuit. These can read these names. That Sprightly, Tunnel Vermin, Murder Doom, Die Desperado, Active Boba, Sea Scar, Hop Lustia, Remove Barrier, Demonic, Beastly Ritual, Riff Raff Hunter, After Intro Map, Bound Active Captor, Battle Mission, and Brute Concluder. Yeah, the names they have in these things are absolutely ridiculous sometimes. Yeah. Right, and this is another one. This is Game Boy. This is a 32 one. This has the Smurfs Nightmare on it. Mortal Kombat 4, which is kind of hilarious in some ways because, yeah, Mortal Kombat on the Game Boy, and you try to put fatalities in, but it's like watching a little pre-rendered video. It's a fatality. Kind of, well, hilarious. Turok 2, that's not too bad of a game. And A Bug's Life. I've actually got a video of that on my channel, but not of the Game Boy version because I think there's a Mega Drive version of it. Pirates made a Mega Drive version of the Game Boy version with better graphics. It's still crap like the Game Boy version, but I've got a video from my channel that I'll probably link to in this video if you want to see it. Frogger, which is Frogger, and Bomberman. Now Bomberman game is not the same Bomberman as the previous ones. That's the Game Boy Color, and it plays like a platform game. You have to like, you drop bombs, and you can, it's like Mario kind of, where all levels are upwards, and you have to drop bombs and use them as platforms. Of course, it's done blowing because it's a pretty weird idea for Bomberman, but they did that. So yeah. Right, next one. Right, this one's called Super Color 15 in 1. Now, this one I think actually is actually being truthful, and this all the games are actually on it. Right, GGB, what's the Wario Land 2, Game & Watch Gallery 2, and yes, the save features all these games actually did work properly, so Mario Land 2, Wario Blast, Mario 7. Now, wait, you're probably wondering what, Mario 7? What's Mario 7? Mario 7 is a hack of Super Adventure Island. One of the Super Adventure Island games, just with Master Higgins' sprite replaced with Mario's head. Yeah. It's a fairly decent game because they haven't done it to it. Super Mario 4, that's another one. I think that one was an original hack, original bootleg game, and it's kind of a bit Mario and Yoshi, that's a real game. Super Mario Land 1, Dr. Mario, Mario's Tennis, you know, it's like. And then we got Kid Nicky, Tetris, Bubble Ghost, that's a really fun game, that one. Flippy Pull. Or is that Flip Pull? I always call it Flippy Pull, even though it's not Flip Pull, I don't know why. And Tasmanian Star. The Tasmanian Star, that has to be one of the worst games on the system. I just learned a lot of these multi-cartridges and I don't know why, it just is. Oh! What are you doing? My scenery is collapsing. Scenery, stay up. Thank you. Right, so we're near the end now. Right, next we've got is 4 Game Boy Advance. Yeah, now these ones are classed as Game Boy Advance, even though they're actually just Game Boy Color games. So I'll open this up so you can see it better. This is Game Color on it. So then we've got, we've got lots of lies on this one, like we've got pictures of the Game Boy Advance cartridge artwork on it, which is not on the game. Right, so, yes, this has Zelda Oracle and Zelda Oracle of Ages of Seasons on it. Now, yes, they're both on the game. Unfortunately, you can only have one save file per save file on this system, because if you try and play another one on this cartridge, it wipes itself with the game off. The games do work. Yeah, and them Pokemon games are strange. That's Pokemon Diamond and Pokemon Jade. Yeah, I know the age of the real Pokemon Diamond, there wasn't one this year, but these are 2 terribly made platform games, and so they're not official Pokemon games. I mean, in China, they're just completely to crap. Oh yeah, and I think one of them had enemies from Mega Man in it, because why wouldn't it? Right, and the final Game Boy game I ever bought, this one's called Game USA. Now, I do mention this one actually is actually being completely truthful when it says, number does it say on it? 92 in 1. They actually use 92 different games on this. Yeah, crazy, but of course some of these screenshots are complete lies. They've got screenshots there of the Game Boy Advance version covers, and they're not the Game Boy Advance version, they're the Game Boy games. But yeah. You're probably wondering, Harry Potter 2? What's Harry Potter 2? Well, Harry Potter 2 is, I think, an original bootleg space shooter based off Harry Potter. The most interesting thing about the game is the music. The music, it's actually a perfectly playable game and not glitching like most of these other pirates. You can actually 100% play it. It's really glitchy though. Well, it's not glitchy. What do you mean it's not glitchy? The game's not glitchy, but the music's the funny thing. They took the music from the Game Boy version of Parodius. Yeah, Parodius. Which actually do I have on the Game Boy. It's on one of them Can I My Game Boy collections. It's a really good port on the Game Boy as well. There's also as the game what no one ever really speaks and talks about, Resident Evil Gaiden. You know, the Resident Evil for the Game Boy Color on the boat when you played as Barry, and everyone seems to forget it even exists. A very hard game. Kind of an interesting game in some ways. Everyone forgets it exists. But it does exist. So yeah, the screenshots and the box are rely on this, but lots of the games on this, the Game Boy games written on this, and not on it, but yeah, there's actually 80 games, and this is literally the last Game Boy, regular Game Boy game. I had an Advance by the time I got this, so people will stop really producing even these bootleg ones by then. Right, there was two other games, which you just can't find them anywhere. I had. One was a Crash Bandicoot game. Now you're probably wondering, there is no Crash Bandicoot game for the Game Boy Color, and there wasn't. It was a bootleg Chinese one with complete English dialogue about Neo Cortex trying to take over the world with a Gundam. Obviously stolen artwork. The game had a save feature enough, and a bit of but the game itself wasn't very good. And just think the second level in the game, it literally starts with a truck, and if you don't press jump straight, you just instantly die. I mean, yeah, that's really fair. But yeah. And the other game, and I can't find it, but I know I've got it, is Godzilla for the Game Boy. Any Video Game Nerd did a video on part of this one, and yeah, it's like a puzzle game with Godzilla, but they actually changed the sprites for the American version. Slightly. The characters, the gameplay's not been changed at all, but I don't know why they did that, but they did, so... Well, anyway, that was my... Well, alright, wait a second. Well, anyway, that was my entire Game Boy collection. Thank you for watching.